From the CyberHub bunker and studio, you're tuning in to the CyberHub podcast. And now for your host and CISO, James Azar.
Good morning, everyone. Tuesday, September 14th, 2021. James Azar here with the Practitioner Brief. We've got a very, very busy show today. Indeed, 6 different stories. Again, it's a short week because I'm off on Thursday for Yom Kippur. So, trying to cover as much as I possibly can as one human being as humanly possibly can on a 12 to 15 minute show. Good morning to David, and good morning to Mr. Hurley, and top of the morning to you as well. Rob, good morning. Mr. McQuiggan, what is happening? Good morning to you, good sir. And Rob says, hopefully you're going to cover Apple vulnerability. Rob, have you been reading my notes? Are you reading the tabs on top? Because yes, we are going to talk about the Apple vulnerability. This show is supported by friends over at KnowBe4 and Ativo Network. So go check them out. Let them know that you appreciate their support for the program. Also, Cyber Week Georgia, a week from today, next week, right here in Atlanta, Georgia, at the beautiful Atlanta Tech Park. A half day from about 11:30 to about 5, 6 o'clock. Now, if you're a CISO, we've got an event happening that evening with a live podcast with Kevin Gowan. This is over at Synovus, Carl Scafidi. This is over at Incom Payments. You guys don't want to miss that. That's invite only. So DM me if you want to attend that. Got to be CIO, CTO, CISO, etc. But the actual Cyber Week Georgia event, which is kind of like a Cyber Day because of COVID, is from 11:30. I'll be doing an incident response workshop. We'll also be having a great fintech panel as well. So tune in. If you want to attend, go to cyberweekgeorgia.com or contact me for a free pass. So yes, Cyber Week indeed. Good morning to Keith. Good morning to Tucker. Good morning to Chris. Thank you for being here. Good morning to Josh. And now, folks, our ceremonial cup of Morning Joe. Whatever it is you're drinking, I've got my double espresso. Whatever roast you're enjoying, whatever beverage you're enjoying, I hope it brightens up your day. It's 9:05 a.m., folks. Cheers. Let's get right into it because we've got a lot to cover. Google patches its 10th Chrome zero-day exploited in the wild so far this year. So mind you, we're at the tail end of the year. Not a big deal, but nonetheless, there's another patch from Google for Chrome. This one is 93.0.4577.82. It's for Windows, Mac, and Linux to fix 11 security vulnerabilities. 2 of them being 0 days being exploited in the wild. So Google is aware of the exploits, which are for CVE 2021-30632 and 30633. The update is being rolled out globally in the stable desktop channel, and Google states it will become available to everyone over the next few days. When you restart your browser, it should let you know it's time to update. Get it updated. I would send this alert to everyone in my team. Everyone in the company that uses Chrome. This is significant. There's already 2 exploits out in the wild for these 0 days. So this patch eliminates those. Get that done. Yes, it's the 10th 0 day. This is the year of 0 days. We get it. Thank you so much. There have been other vulnerabilities. We're not going to waste time listing them. They've already been patched. Get this one done. Force it down everyone's throats, or better yet, just communicate it effectively. Let everyone know they need to update their Google Chrome today. Put that on the company Slack, put it on the company Discord, put it on your Teams channel, wherever it is that you're able to communicate to the organization. Send out an email, pop a notification, whatever it is that you do, get that done. We'll move to our next story where HP OMEN Gaming Hub flaw is affecting millions of Windows computers. So this one, again, a high severity flaw in the HP OMEN driver software that's impacting millions of gaming computers worldwide. Why am I talking about this? How many of us have employees in the remote world today that are using their own devices on our networks? It's part of the post-COVID agenda. So one of the biggest challenges we're seeing CISOs experience now is for the last 12 to 18 months, all the policies and rules that we've put in place for work from home have been predominantly accepted, and kind of people have been working within those confines. But now as we start to get out of COVID and as we're starting to move to a more hybrid workforce, people are starting to, I don't want to say rebel, but a bit complain about some of the policies and controls that are in place, which is leading some people to use their own computers. Now, who uses gaming? Who does gaming? Predominantly already know who those people are in your organizations. Many of them use the HP OMEN. It's one of the better gaming computers out there. It's tracked a CVE 2021-3437 as a CVSS score of 7.8. But here's the thing. So it does allow threat actors to escalate privileges to kernel mode without requiring admin permissions. It allows them to disable security products, override system components, and even corrupt the OS. That's not the issue here. This was discovered by Sentinel-1 and reported to HP on February 17th. There was no in the wild exploitation at that time. You bet your sweet tail, at this point, there will be. The issue themselves are rooted in the component called the OMEN Command Center that comes pre-installed on the HP OMEN branded laptops and desktops and can be downloaded from the Microsoft Store. The software, in addition to the fact that it monitors GPU, CPU, and RAM via Vitals dashboards, is designed to help fine-tune network traffic to overclock the gaming PC for faster computer performance. What's the problem? Well, Austin said the driver itself, while being developed by HP, is actually a partial copy of another driver that's full of known vulnerabilities. And in the right circumstance, an attacker can gain access to the network. He can then move laterally within that network. So people are using their home networks, which aren't always secure. Once they're logged in, from that point on, that's it, folks. It's game over. They can move laterally. They can get into other applications that's on that device. Or if the laptop sits and works on the same network as your corporate network does, where employee Y logs in to do so, you could be looking at a potential a potential cyber incident that could lead to greater ramifications. So something here very important. I believe there are some workarounds for this, as well as a patch on the way. Make sure you identify these devices, and if you are, limit the amount of data they can get their hands on. If you own an iPhone, if you own an iOS device, you must have gotten an alert yesterday that said time to update to 14.8. Apple fixes the zero-day use to deploy the NSO iPhone spyware Pegasus. Apple has released the fix for CVE 2021-30860 and CVE 2021-30858. Both will allow maliciously crafted documents to execute commands when opened on vulnerable devices. The core graphics vulnerability, which is 30860, is an integer overflow bug discovered by Citizens Lab that allows threat actors to create malicious PDF documents that execute commands when open in iOS or Mac OS. The 30858 is a WebKit use after free vulnerability, allowing hackers to create maliciously crafted web pages that execute commands when visiting them on iPhone and Mac OS. Apple states that this vulnerability was disclosed anonymously. Apple is aware of the report that this issue may have been actively exploited, and now they have released a patch for it. Get your iPhones, iPads, and Mac OSs patched urgently and immediately. Apple has been in the news quite a bit with these 0 days, so this is no surprise. The 14.8 is a bit out of character for Apple, especially since iOS 15 is scheduled due within the next 2 to 3 weeks, I believe. So this is a bit of I don't want to say out of, it's a bit out of the ordinary, but obviously they see importance in getting this patch out there today. The forced entry exploit was discovered to be used to bypass the iOS blast or security feature to deploy the Pegasus software. Citizens Lab was the one credited with this one. And so get your iPhones patched. Here's another one, folks. Vermillion Strike, which is a Linux implementation of the Cobalt Strike beacon, is targeting organizations worldwide. This one's been done by researchers. who took the wraps off the newly discovered Linux and Windows re-implementation of the Cobalt Strike beacon. And according to the detected version of the penetration testing tool, codenamed Vermillion Strike, marks one of the rare Linux ports which has been traditionally a Windows-based red team tool, heavily repurposed by adversaries to mount an array of targeted attacks. Cobalt Strike bills itself as a threat emulation software, with Beacon being the payload engineered to model an advanced actor and duplicate their post-exploitation actions. The stealthy samples uses Cobalt Strike's command and control protocol when communicating to the C2 server and has remote access capabilities such as uploading files, running shell commands, and writing to files. As of, I believe, August 10th, they've seen the artifact up to virus as malicious at still the malware runs itself in the background and decrypts the configuration necessary for the beacon to function before fingerprinting the compromised Linux machine and establishing communication with a remote server over DNS or HTTP to retrieve base 64 encoded and AES encrypted instructions that allow it to run arbitrary commands, write to files, and uploads files back to the servers. This is a new threat attack. It appears to be attributed a bit by SecureWorks to APT32 or Ocean Lotus, as they're known. Again, one name, folks. Let's give them one, please. Nonetheless, this is a new threat within our environment. The fact is, these threats are discovered, and by the time we know about them, it's a bit too late. And putting all of our chips on the malware and antivirus EDR solutions isn't always the best approach. A few more stories here, folks, and we're about to wrap up, so stick with us today. Belarus and Ukraine see the largest increase in ICS attacks in the first half of 2021. This, according to a new report by Kaspersky, it's their ICS threat landscape report that revealed that there's been a 10 percentage point increase in Belarus, where roughly half of the devices monitored by Kaspersky were attacked, and Ukraine, where 33% of the devices were attacked. Belarus and Ukraine, along with Russia, were the countries that saw the most significant increase in terms of threats from the internet. There's been a lot of political instability in that region. Belarus does have some political issues of their own, with a very corrupt president and a protest movement that's trying to overthrow him. He's on another term where allegedly he won 92% of votes. So Kaspersky said its products blocked a total of more than 20,000 malware variants belonging to approximately 5,000 malware families. Targeting industrial control systems has been a thing. We all remember Colonial Pipeline. So what you see happening in East Europe typically tends to migrate itself west with time. So keep your eyes out for this one as well. And our final story of the day, and a funny one, not a fun one, but a fun one for me. OWASP's top 10 ranking has a new leader after nearly 10 years. For the last 10 years, injection was at the top of the list. It's now broken access control. And you see that there are three new three new items on the top 10, including insecure design, software and data integrity failures, and server-side request forgery. In the press release, the OWASP Foundation explained that its most recent update in ranking shifts, where 94% of applications who were tested for some form of broken access control had it. The cryptographic failure did move up to position number 2, that's sensitive data. Insecure design is a new category with a focus on risk related to design flaws. Again, realistic. That's why I like OWASP. And I believe the final one is server-side forgery requests. And that's added from the industry survey. The data shows a relatively low incident rate with the above average testing coverage, along with above average ratings for exploit and impact potential. And here you go, folks. You can see the top 10 over the last 4-year intervals, 13, 17, and 21. And if you keep going down, you can go all the way back to 2004. injection has held the title for 10 years, now being taken down by broken access control. So if OWASP's talking about it, ask yourself, what are we doing? So, folks, that's it for our practitioner brief today. Tomorrow, we'll wrap up this week before I am gone for the rest of the week. Friday, we'll still have our CISO Talk live AMA at 11 a.m. right here. Don't miss it. Also, CISO Talk this week. We'll be back with a brand new episode next week. Again, Yom Kippur on Thursday. We won't be posting any new content. I'll be offline, off the grid for about 30 hours. Very, very excited. Very, very excited. I get to turn everything off. Not a bad deal. So make sure to comment, share, and subscribe to the podcast if you don't mind. Thank you all for your support. Thanks so much for tuning in with us this morning. I'll be back again at 9 a.m. Until then, have a great rest of your day. And most importantly, folks, stay cyber safe. Cheers.
We love feedback, so make sure to connect with us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform.